Episode 11 of Queen of Tears continues from Hayen's press conference confession about her terminal illness. Her statement makes earth-shattering waves as her family find out about her illness. While Hayen tries to reach Hyunwoo, she suddenly faints. In a heartbreaking voiceover, Hayen laments about keeping her feelings towards Hyunwoo to herself. She wishes that she'd have given a chance to tell him how much she loves him. While Hyunwoo tearfully watches over her in the ICU, Hayen's family arrive, frantic at the sudden news of her collapse. While on her way to see the chairman, Seol-hee arrives before Byung-jae and Grace can reach the chairman's room. She forces them out of the elevator. Byung-jae begs Seol-hee to let her see the chairman and Seol-hee agrees. When they enter the room, much to everybody's surprise, the chairman is sitting on the hospital bed. However, on closer observation, it's revealed that he's suffering from temporary dementia. And so, there goes Byung-jae's plan to topple Seol-hee's tyranny and save her father from her clutches, down to the depths of Atlantis. She's back to square one. Elsewhere, Hayen's family is having a difficult time dealing with the news of her illness. Her father blames himself for not being more attentive and responsible. Dahai contacts Yoon-seong since she is worrying about Seo-chul's anxiety attacks on reading the news about Hayen's illness, but Yoon-seong threatens her to never call him for such business. Seo-chul breaks down in front of Hyunwoo, blaming and tearing the talisman he had been carrying around to suppress Hayen's energy. Comically, this is when Hayen wakes as well, after Seo-chul gets rid of the talisman. She apologises to Seo-chul before he leaves to inform the rest of the family about Hayen. After Seo-chul leaves, Hayen confesses her love for Hyunwoo and explains that she knew he had been unhappy with her family and she did not want him to suffer. As Hayen's family hurry to meet her, Seonhwa is completely shattered and regretful over how she treated Hayen. She blames herself for pinning her grief regarding the loss of her first child onto Hayen and making her suffer. Noticing her mother's absence, Hayen overhears Seonhwa and Hyunwoo's conversation, where Seonhwa is blaming herself for being a bad mother. Hayen steps in and tries to comfort her. Seonhwa repetitively apologises to Hayen before the two have a tearful embrace. Meanwhile, Seol-hee brings the chairman back home and puts up a show about how the chairman still trusts her the most in front of the company's management. In reality, the chairman is wary of Seol-hee as he hazily recognises his room. Seol-hee dismisses the attendance and forces him to tell her about the secret slush fund. From Seol-hee and Yoon-seong's conversations, it's revealed that since Hayen's press conference confession, the public has been sympathising with the Hong family. It's only a matter of time before Yoon-seong and Seol-hee's autocracy ends. Yoon-seong and Seol-hee are looking for the chairman's secret slush fund so they can buy the rest of the Queen's stocks and assert their legitimacy and dominance over the Queen's group. Interestingly enough, they are unable to find it, even though the chairman transferred the funds to Seol-hee's name. In the meantime, Hayen is showered with love from everybody, even her secretary, who asks Hayen to come back. She also informs Hayen about her newfound public image, that of Juliet, since she is viewed as a woman pining for her ex-lover. This theory is vetted when she receives pitiful glances from ladies in a hospital. Hayen then asks Hyunwoo to be affectionate towards her to dispel the rumours of her one-sided unrequited love, and he gladly complies. This is when Yoon-seong arrives, and from Hayen and his conversation, we understand that Hayen cut her ties with Yoon-seong in their university days due to his obsession and toxic display of affection towards her. After Yoon-seong leaves, he tries to pay Hyunwoo to leave Hayen, but receives a well-deserved jab on the cheek instead. After Yoon-seong reaches the ex-Hong household, he starts looking for the slush fund and traces it to somewhere in Malaysia. At the same time, Hayen and Hyunwoo discuss about how intricately the money was laundered by the chairman. On being inquired, Hyunwoo relays how the former employees of the company helped him gain the information about the slush fund. The next day, Hyunwoo is found guilty by an internal audit committee at the company, under the influence of Yoon-seong's fake charges. However, his plan is thwarted when Hyunwoo's lawyer friends argue against the inconsistencies and loopholes associated with the charges. Furious at Hyunwoo's continuous interfering, he calls the land broker from the previous episode and asks him to get rid of Hyunwoo. While Hyunwoo is chatting with his lawyer friends, he shows him documents regarding the slush fund. In a flashback, we follow the trail of the shredded documents from the juice delivery man to Hayen's secretary, and finally to Hayen and Hyunwoo and Yongdu-ri, where they assembled all the shredded pieces together. Byung-jae has Conan on a mission to spy on Seol-hee so that she cannot harm the chairman. Byung-jae accidentally glances over towards the farmer Young-song, the one whose mother has dementia, who's basking in the sun before being startled as their eyes meet. Young-song gives her a bag of mulberries, and Byung-jae hilariously mistakes this gesture for affection. Later, the entire Hong family, along with the Baek family, enjoy a hearty dinner as a celebration over Hayen's discharge from the hospital. They talk about how to get her WBC to increase, and Hayen seems happy to finally receive the love of her family. Meanwhile, at Dahai's, an uninvited visitor comes to meet her. We don't really know who yet, but it's definitely not Seo-chul since he is busy being coached by Baek, Hai and Tae over how to throw a punch. The next day, Hyunwoo relays the information about the slush fund to the Hong family and informs that the money is in Korea. Grace tells them about a suspicious warehouse in the outskirts of the city. The family disguise themselves as wholesalers in need of a warehouse, while Grace becomes a real estate broker. They plan to keep the warehouse worker busy to decrypt the data about the slush fund. Hayen later reveals that the money in the artwork is displayed inside the warehouse. She explains that her grandfather bought some rookie artist's painting at 10 times higher price prize and was refunded 90% or more in cash, hence the existence of the slush fund. The episode doesn't reveal whether they are successful in their goal. It's suddenly dark and raining, and Heinrich leaves to get the car and quickly returns with an umbrella. There is something odd about his serious expression, and not long after, they are chased by an unknown man. After much effort, they lose him, only for the mysterious car to block their way. And the man who comes out of the car is Heinrich? It's revealed that Haein had a hallucination where Yeon-seong's face transformed into Hyun-woo's for her. The episode ends with Hyun-woo passionately calling out to Haein while Yeon-seong locks the car, and Haein is confused and afraid at the same time. Episode 12 of Queen of Tears begins with Haein and Hyun-woo looking over the CCTV footage at the warehouse where they initially thought the slush fund to be. Haein recognises the truck from the CCTV footage to be the one that she saw on the day the chairman told them to leave to change the ventilators. This means that the slush fund was transported from the warehouse to the Hong residence that day. Hyun-woo then leaves to get the car since it begins to rain. The events from the last episode now take place from an outside perspective, and we see Yeon-seong approach Haein, who is sitting alone near the warehouse. She mistakes him for Hyun-woo and Yeon-seong plays along. Meanwhile, Hyun-woo returns to see Haein climb into Yeon-seong's car and chases them. The rest is history. Haein comes back to her senses and gets out of Yeon-seong's car. However, she tells him that Yeon-seong invited her to avoid telling him what actually happened. She then leaves with Yeon-seong with a mind to poke around the house for clues regarding the slush fund. Hyun-woo, however, is hit on his head by an unknown person. Haein and Yeon-seong reach the Hong household and Yeon-seong prepares for a dinner date with Haein while she just wants to meet her grandfather. At the same time, Hyun-woo wakes up in his car while the broker is getting ready to kill him. He receives a call from the land broker that Hyun-woo has been killed. Yeon-seong turns off his mobile, claiming to send money to the broker later. Unlike his plans though, Haein is not interested in dinner, but Yeon-seong is able to keep her there by telling her a story about how he saved her from the dog and even from drowning. It's revealed, however, that he lied about the latter incident. Meanwhile, Dahoi's uninvited guest is the finance director of the Queens, who is revealed to be Gunwoo's biological father. He informs Dahoi that he has committed illegal acts while serving as financial director, and pinned the blame onto Sochil, and that Sochil is going to get arrested. This makes Dahoi worried about Sochil. Back at the Hong residence, Haein meets her grandfather and is shocked to see him in a terrible state. She nevertheless whispers about the secret recording pen that he gave her, places it on a table and instructs him to leave a message as she will be back for it. While she's leaving, the chairman says some cryptic lines which mention an air raid shelter. Haein leaves the house while Yeon-seong and his mother argue about Haein's presence. She gets lost in the garden, unable to find her way to the main gate. This is when she sees Hyun-woo looking for her, but she isn't sure if he's Hyun-woo because he appears as Yeon-seong to her for a brief moment. Luckily though, Hyun-woo finds her and is able to convince her of his identity. They leave the mansion. Meanwhile, Yeon-seong is furious and calls the broker. It's revealed that Hyun-woo was able to barter his life by logically arguing that the broker would get a 20-year sentence for a murder, rather than a 3-year sentence for fraud. Because of this and Yeon-seong's betrayal, the broker spares Hyun-woo's life. Hyun-woo and Haein spend the night at Hyun-woo's apartment, living a normal life, eating good food, cuddling, and just generally being happy. She also tells him about the secret pen that she had kept in her grandfather's room. Meanwhile, Sochil is practicing to be a boxer. Through his questions, it's revealed that Baek Hyun-tae's wife lives with him and treats him well because Hyun-tae's mother decided to be unorthodox and give her freedom to do whatever she pleases in exchange for not divorcing her son, possibly because his other knew she was his only chance at marriage. Gunwoo's father enters into an argument over a gold Buddha statue that Dahoi stole from the Hongs and almost harms Gunwoo as a result. Dahoi then mixes pills into his wine, packs her bags and leaves with all the money, along with a gold Buddha statue. Later, while Grace is dining with Yeon-seong and Seohee, it's revealed that it was her who helped Hyun-woo enter the Hong mansion. She then breaks a deal with the two, telling them that Hyun-woo thinks that the slush fund is in the house. Meanwhile, a bunch of reporters snap photos of Hyun-woo's house and Mi-sun kicks one of them, but they are able to flee in their car. They decide to make a team of 5 to patrol the area in which Sochil is excited to serve. Hyun-woo and Haein reach Yongdo-ri and watch a sunset. Hyun-woo presents a ring to Haein, asking her to take the divorce back, but Haein tearfully refuses, telling him about how her illness has worsened and that she cannot even be sure of anything. She tells him about the day she mistook Yeon-seong for Hyun-woo. Yeon-seong is looking for his mother, and Byung-jae helps him to find her way through Conan's spy drone. As they sit in his courtyard, they share a heart-to-heart about each other's personal history. Byung-jae tells him about how she behaved with her father before he collapsed, and Yeon-seong tells her that he lived all his life without his mother, since she had left him to escape from his abusive father. He tells her that he brought her back when she got diagnosed with dementia, and this is how they trauma bond. In the meantime, it's revealed that the chairman is coming back to his senses, and pretends to swallow the medicine given on orders by Seohee. Instead, once the help leaves his room, he takes out the pill from his mouth and stores them in his bathroom cabinet. Back in Yongdo-ri, the entire family discuss about the air raid shelter and conclude that the slush fund might be in the panic room. The issue is that although everybody knows about the panic room, nobody really knows where it exactly is. Hyun-woo suggests that there might be a secret floor plan. Later in the night, while patrolling the area, Sochil meets Dahai, who has returned with both the gold Buddha statue and Gunwoo. Dahai apologises to the family and returns all the money, except that spent on air travel and in the US. Whilst Yeonhwa is furious at her presence, Sochil defends Dahai, repeatedly telling them that Gunwoo is his child since he was present at his birth and brought him up. They leave, and while Dahai suggests that she will leave Sochil alone, Sochil emphasises that he cannot live without her and Gunwoo. They eventually reconcile. Later the next day, Heinwoo, with the help of his friend Kim Yang-gi, is successful in acquiring the original floor plan from the makers of the house. As they study the floor plan, they realise that the elevator is connected to the chairman's room and it may have 2 doors. One of them opens into the panic room on the other side. They plan to visit the house early morning along with the charges of negligence by Seol-hee towards the chairman's health. At this time, Yeon-sung and his mother are already searching the entire house for the slush fund. Unfortunately, Seol-chi catches the chairman while he's in his bathroom cabinet. It's evident that he comes back to his senses for a brief moment. The chairman tells Seol-hee that it's like living in a horrible prison. That night, the chairman wakes up, records something in Hae-in's pen and proceeds towards the stairs, smiling while sad music plays in the background. The next day, when the Hongs arrive, the chairman is already dead from the fall. Seol-hee loses the power of attorney, meaning that the Hongs will be able to get their house and belongings back, since Seol-hee no longer has any power over them. After the funeral, the family visit the house with the chairman's picture, get into the elevator, and are able to open the door of the panic room. This is where the episode comes to an end. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.